We are an e-learning organization based out of Mumbai, India, and we are one of the pioneers in this domain when it comes to technology transformations. Okay. I'm now on a slide which says agenda, and we are running a series of webinars geared towards educating our audience by sharing our experience in transforming organizations around the globe, including taking their legacy content to future-proof it into platform-agnostic e-learning content. Today's webinar will be relatively brief, and we will not spend much time on reiterating why we need HTML5 and why people are more and more moving towards using mobile devices and tablets as tools in their everyday lives. Bring your own device, or BYOD, is a common theme that we help our clients address. Today we're going to spend more time on how organizations have really moved onto HTML5, and the reasons for doing so are pretty obvious. We will spend more time looking at case studies and how these were addressed. So I have a quick agenda here of about 30 minutes. I'll spend a couple of minutes introducing you to Hurix Systems, who we are, and the services that we provide. I will then spend some time sharing typical situations people encounter when it comes to converting Flash to HTML5, discussing various approaches and challenges when it comes to the conversions. And then I will share some sample cases, case studies of our recent successes, award-winning successes where organizations have realized a significant return on their investment in doing conversions, considering that past investments have really already been made into Flash development, and these are valuable assets that still have a great future ahead. And then I'll spend the last few minutes on Q&A, where you'll be able to raise some questions, and we'll answer those as time permits. Okay, so I'm now on a slide or screen that says, who are we? Hurix is an e-learning organization, and we have won multiple awards. You can see some of the many corporate logos that we do development for at the bottom of the screen, including national and international corporations, as well as all of the major educational publishers. We are one of the largest organizations in India. We have a team of approximately 580 employees, about half of which are developers and programmers. And our staff includes project managers, instructional designers, visual designers, and technical experts. We have 5 global offices. 2 are in India and 3 are in the US. I'm based out of the Boston area myself. In India, we have our main office in Mumbai, and that's where we're headquartered. Our other office in India is in Chennai, which is in the southeastern part of the country. Currently, over 250 clients in 20+ countries, and we are a very financially stable organization, funded by a leading venture capitalist in India. And since our inception, we are now in our 15th year. And if you look at it, offshore vendors, most people will advise you to make sure that the company has been in business for roughly 10 years. So we really are truly veterans in this space. I'm now on a slide which says Hurix has been delivering content transformation. Okay, so in 2014, we won the Gold Award for Excellence from Brandon Hall in the space of mobile learning technology innovation. We have won several other awards, and our organization is certified in CMMI Level 4, which speaks to our processes and quality. We're named as one of Technology Fast 500 companies in Asia Pacific by Deloitte, continuously now for the last 3 years. When it comes to what we offer in the space of content development, we are an end-to-end custom e-learning design and development organization. So we develop content utilizing subject matter experts to write the content and assessment, and instructional designers who determine the best way to deliver the materials to the learners or users. We have a specialized expertise where we offer interactive assessments for learning games in a formal learning environment. We are a preferred partner when it comes to ebooks for organizations like Pearson, McGraw-Hill, and Wiley. Their ebook stores are powered by our technologies and content. Being a custom e-learning organization, we're not married to any one specific technology. We use a variety of popular rapid authoring tools and platforms. You may be quite familiar with Articulate Storyline, Adobe Captivate, Lectora, iSpring, or our own platform, Lectora. And Hurix is proficient with all of these authoring platforms, and we leverage these tools when it comes to rapid authoring. We have specialized solutions and services around infographics, and we create amazing animations for device-specific learning. We're going to talk more about Flash to HTML5 conversions today, as this is one of our flagship solutions. In Flash to HTML5 conversions, we have a unique distinction of converting well over 100,000 Flash-based assets to HTML5 in the last 2 years. This is a unique achievement which includes a lot of interactive labs, complex simulations, courses, games, and animations. We'll go on to the next screen here. And there's going to be a real quick survey, and let me start the poll, which I've not done before, but let me see here. Okay. So I'm going to give this about 30, 40 seconds if you guys could take a moment just to see who has developed e-learning content in HTML5 so far. So your responses will help give me a better sense of who is out there and what I can focus on for the remainder of today. Let's see, about another 5 seconds or so. Okay, so about 90% of the people have voted, and it's pretty evenly split. There's 45% yes and 55% no. So thank you for that. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next slide here. Okay, Flash to HTML5 and reasons why. So let's talk a little bit about the rationale driving Flash to HTML5 conversion. Sorry.
Joe, can you make a full screen? People can see a better view. Attendees.
Okay. Any better?
Press on F5 will be great.
Okay. Is that better, Piyush?
No, Joe. Can you check on chat, please?
It's showing fine in the preview.
Yep. Full screen. Yeah, we can go ahead. That's fine.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Okay. So back to the rationale behind Flash to HTML5 conversions, and the reasons are pretty clear. As the end of Flash is basically now. A few reports indicate that in less than 2 years, your learners will be consuming 80% of their formal e-learning content through mobile devices, tablets, and smartphones, mostly 5, 7, and 10-inch. The other month, an agency released a report stating that there's a big gap, almost 35%, where the sales of desktops and laptops have drastically gone down, while the sales of tablets, including iPads and smartphones, 5-inch and above, have really gone up. So, Adobe Flash is no longer supported by Android 4.1 and above. Companies like Apple, which has a huge market share of tablets as well as all of the iPads and iPhones, are not supporting Flash at all. The reality is, though, that Flash has been around for some time, and we've invested heavily in it for development. It was the go-to technology, which everyone thought would be around for many years, but the times and technology have changed. And we wouldn't want to simply walk away from Flash content, but we should rather consider future-proofing it and possibly enhancing it during the process. Hurix identified this need in the market a couple years back, and we have invested heavily in time and resources to becoming extremely proficient in helping clients upgrade and transform these valuable assets. There's an opportunity here to not only leverage these investments, but to also transition them in to realize another return on that initial investment. Existing Flash assets present a significant opportunity to future-proof. And there's also the opportunity to refurbish or enhance these assets in the process. So coming up, there's a slide that's going to talk about refurbishment options to consider while you're converting your Flash content. And these basically are the three reasons behind why folks are making the conversion change to HTML5. Okay, I'm going to just advance here to the next screen, which is building on legacy content. So as mentioned in the last slide, you really don't want to scrap Flash assets, but instead you'd like to build upon this legacy content if it's in fact good content that you want to carry forward. Taking this legacy content and transforming it into something which is future-proof, which is HTML5. So unlike Flash, whose existence in future was controlled solely by one company, Adobe, HTML5 is an open source web technology. So no one company owns it, and therefore there's very little chance that this transition will be faced again in the future. It is the standard. And when we say we're going through transitioning or building on legacy assets, it's more about taking your Flash-based content as it exists and also making it more engaging and interesting if it is somewhat outdated because of the time that it was created. So, wherever there is monotonous sort of page-turning PowerPoint-like content, wherever there's dull or boring content, there's an opportunity to enhance it visually or to make it more interactive for an improved learning experience and outcome for your audience. So the next slide is key approaches to Flash to HTML5 conversions. So here are 4 approaches that come to mind when it comes to Flash to HTML5 conversions. When we say in the past 2 years that we have Hurix has converted over 100,000 Flash-based assets to HTML5. Here are some of the different ways in which this has been developed. And we see these 4 scenarios happening over and over again, and this is how we've categorized them. So the first category is simple content in Flash that already exists. And when we say simple content, it's mostly images and text on screen. In a template-based approach, where simple interactions like drag and drop or multiple choice or match the pairs exists. The second category is what we refer to as animated courses, and these are Flash-based courses which are essentially a series of animations. And when we say animations, these are self-running animations that have play, pause, and a slider to advance or rewind the player. The third category is complex courses, including scenario-based or simulations, role-based explorative learning, or virtual labs. These kind of Flash courses have extensive investments made in the original development, and it truly would be a shame to waste them. And the fourth category, or the last type, is courses created with authoring tools like Articulate, Storyline, Adobe Captivate, or Lectora. So these were created with those rapid authoring tools and had a Flash output. And so with these 4 common categories on conversions, here are the approaches that we've taken in converting them. So when we see simple content, we've already developed and pre-built an HTML5 framework. There's an automated way of doing this approach. What we have developed is more like a template framework where we have an instructional design, a resource map the existing content to HTML5 templates, of which we have already created. So it is a simple exercise of mapping the existing screens to the appropriate HTML5 template, and then porting over the content, the images, the assessment, and then republishing it with an HTML5 output. This is a very efficient way of leveraging these assets, and the output you get is not proprietary. When you get an HTML5 package, unlike a Swift file, you get everything. There's no code that is held back by Hurix or any other vendor. So you can take that HTML5 package and you can make changes as you wish on your own at any point in time down the road. You don't need to come back to that original vendor. It is still a custom HTML5 framework, but a framework approach which works well for content that really falls in the simple content category. The second category, animated courses. This is where we take this approach and we typically record that Flash animation and save it as an MP4 video, and retaining all of the rich experience in the original animation. And simultaneously, we develop a course shell, more like an HTML5 player, to hold that video, making the output fully HTML5 compatible. If this particular course includes some kind of interactivity, then we address those particular instances separately. But whenever possible, by taking a self-running animation, you can save a lot of time and just take that MP4 file, embed it into an HTML5 player, and publish it as a course with all of the controls to play, pause, fast forward, and rewind. And the third category, or complex courses, it's one in which you really need to take a custom route to create libraries to deal with the different scenarios, like complex explorative courses or 3D simulations. This approach really involves extracting the existing assets, so taking all of the text, the image files, the audio files, the video files, and programming and recoding everything. And the last category is rapid authoring, and that's where we republish. So taking existing content created with whatever authoring tool was used originally, that may require a newer version of that software to deliver an HTML5 output. So this isn't simply opening the course and republishing it with the same version of the software that was originally used. If you have to support new devices because of the new devices that have come on the market since you created it originally, you may have to design the course again with tools like Storyline or Lectora to make it reflowable. So there are things which you need to do before you republish in a way to deal with the content, where you can republish it by making some instructional changes to better suit the newer mobile devices that you're now targeting, since these now have touchscreen controls. This screen grab here for US Censor, it's a course that we have developed for an agency here in the US utilizing video animation, and we based it or embedded it in an HTML5 player. This particular screen grab down here, Reliance, is, sorry it's so small, but it falls into the category of a complex course where there's a lot of tables to be filled in with data, and there's a lot of calculations happening, so that did have to be redone or reprogrammed. And the last one is Pedialyte. It falls into republishing, so a newer version of Articulate Storyline was used to republish the original version, which was also done in Articulate, but taking into account HTML5 output as well as addressing additional devices. Okay. Okay, so the next screen is a fairly short one that I'll touch on, is an option to refurbish. So when we say Flash to HTML5 conversions, most people think about an as-is conversion, and that is common many times, that it truly is an as-is, taking an existing learning object or course and merely adding the devices and operating systems and browsers that you need to make it mobile. But this brings a unique opportunity to the table to not only leverage that content to HTML5, but to refurbish the content So there's instructional enhancement along the way. So, for example, you could take a Flash-based content that may have a case study, which could just be a simple PDF, and you can take that static case study, and with some instructional design treatment, you can make it into convert it into a scenario-based learning experience. You may also run into situations where the visual, the existing visual is not very appealing, or it's outdated, or guidelines have changed, or branding has changed, logos, etc. And you can improve the look and feel by updating those images, illustrations, color response along the way. And a third approach to refurbishment would be to add standalone interactivities or animations, or introduce a learning game and incorporate those into that course as you go to HTML5. Let's see. Okay, so a few samples which I'll show briefly. Let's see. So we have template-based, animation-based, and program-based. So the first one. Okay, so this first one for Philips, it's one in which we used a template-based approach, and it's one that can be done as cheaply as $9 a screen for this kind of conversion. So it's very affordable, very efficient. You can see various kinds of templates that we've used, and I've turned the audio off here, but you can see what's running. And we've used a template-based approach here where we map the existing screens to the appropriate HTML5 template, and then republish that. We could do some enhancements to the visuals as well in the process. And in this particular case, Philips needed to change a lot of branding, and at the same time we used this rapid template-based approach to do the conversions without having to do any reprogramming. So this one is Reliance, and this is really an animation-based approach where
there are two distinct stages in
is just a self-running animation. It's extremely cost-effective. We take that existing video or animation and we plug it into an HTML5 template or player. And this particular one has self-running animations throughout, but then at the end it has some interactivity where you click on each tab.
this graph.
You find
The white part is the compounded. The other benefit of starting to see early in ages that.
Okay, and this third one here is it's called a programming, or we label it as a programming-based approach. And this particular one is very dynamic. There's a lot of mathematical calculations happening here in the background. So it's the kind of complex interactivity that really does require a reprogramming based on whatever inputs you have for process mean and standard deviation, and you get to see the effect there. So as you change the sliders, you can see the impact on the customer that they've specified in their data, and the changes in the inputs really impact the various units. So this was developed in HTML5 custom, where the first two approaches really were not fitting. There's just too much math happening in the back end, and to get that seamless behavior, it did require recreating it or reprogramming it. So let's go to the next one. Oops, sorry. Okay, so I'm now on a slide which says Q&A, and I'm going to take a look at the chat box and see if I can answer some questions. We've just got a couple minutes here. And for those that I don't get to, or those that are very specific, we'll email those responses individually. So one of the questions I've got here is, does Hurix purchase our templates or design them ourselves? Basically, we have a library of templates that we've created, about 120 or so that we've pre-built. And what we do is we map that Flash content to the appropriate HTML5 player and publish the content as such. As soon as a course comes to us, our team simply maps it. It's really an instructional design exercise, followed by publishing the content to HTML5, followed by an internal QA review at Hurix. And there's no template cost to the client because we've pre-built this library, and what you get in the end is the converted HTML5 modules. Let me see here. Next question. Do your tools allow clients to do the conversion work themselves? So yes, we do have a platform that we've developed. It's a product, software as a service, where clients can drive all of the development, and it comes out of our template library, and it is available to log on externally. So I can share a link to provide some details about that. And it allows you and your team of instructional designers this capability. You can look at the library of templates, and you can just simply copy and paste your content or create new content. Really doesn't require, the interface doesn't require any technical skills. And then once you populate it, you publish it, and then you get the output, which is HTML5 responsive. Okay, so here's another one. Can you show a sample of a virtual lab? Let me pull one up here. Okay, so this is a lab that we had done for Holt, and there's a couple of things here you have.
Pressure is the amount of force exerted per unit area on a volume describes.
So here there are some different features where you can explore what happens when you change variables like pressure, gas, temperature, and the effect on the gas in that particular chamber. You can lock and unlock and choose which ones you want to do there, and you can make those adjustments and see the effect that it's having. And let me see, there's another one, which is a sort of a check your knowledge.
How does changing one variable affect the others? Drag the correct variable.
So here you basically have a drag and drop exercise where the user is asked to fill in the appropriate variable.
Not quite. Use. And
you get feedback as to why something was right or wrong. Let's see. So do all of your courses play on all iPads? Are there minimum aspect ratios? What we would suggest in that particular case is a custom development. So whatever devices you want to target, you can specify those requirements. If it's an HTML5 output, iPhones and iPads are supported, and you can define this to be compatible with the 7-inch or 10-inch or whatever it is, and it'll run seamless on that device. The template library that we're talking about here is custom developed, so this approach will give you SCORM 1.2 2004 and 508 compliant output, and that's really part of the packaging process where we can customize that output package any way that you need. We've created SCORM compliant courses so they can be supported by any of the various LMSs. We've also created many tin can compliant courses. It's just I've got 12:32 here in Boston, so we've run just a couple minutes over. But send your questions. We'll put the Q&A on either our blog, or we'll get those to everyone in the audience. Some of these are going to require a detailed response with specific information regarding pricing or samples, and we'll respond to those separately. We've got your email addresses, and we can follow up on one-to-one for those that are more client-specific. And I'm gonna wrap it up here in a minute. I just wanted to thank everyone today for attending the session. I appreciate you taking some time out of your day, and in the next few days or sometime next week, we'll share a copy of this session for your reference, so you can share it with your colleagues internally if you like. And you have my contact details here. So feel free to reach out with any specific questions or suggestions. Thanks everyone for your time, and have a great weekend. I really appreciate it. Thanks.